By the end of my first year of medical college, I've written these many internal assessments, almost 24 internal assessments and 6 mock test papers up until the point of my university exams. So with this much amount of experience, I would just like to share 3 to 4 tips about internal assessment on how to ace it, because I know in 1 or 2 weeks of time, the first year medicos who have newly joined the college, you guys are going to be writing internal assessments. And you must not be clueless on how to write the internal assessment, how to prepare for it. So I hope this video would be a good reminder or like a good guide for you guys to prepare and ace your internal assessments. Without further ado, let's get right into today's video. Alright, so the first tip that I'll give you guys is first impression is the best impression. Sounds very simple, but the reality is that the first ever question they're going to be writing in your paper is going to be an essay, which is going to be worth 10 marks. According to the new CBME curriculum, it is only worth 10 marks. So what is the important point in this is that when you're going to be writing the essay, there are going to be a lot of elements, right? The first element that you have to cover is that you need to write a synopsis. A synopsis is nothing but like a teaser or an introduction to your essay that you're going to be writing for 6 to 7 pages. Since this is the first question you're going to be writing, you have to spend a lot of time on this, right? You have to write 6 to 7 pages, and you just want to give a quick introduction to the examiner who's going to be marking the paper, what you're going to be writing. So let me just give you an example. Let's say the essay question that you have been given is axilla. So in the introduction itself, just write one line about importance of axilla. What is your axilla? And then you're just going to be talking about the contents of the axilla, which is going to be like your arterial supply, which is your axillary artery. Then you can talk about brachial plexus. Then you can also talk about venous drainage. So you're just going to be listing it in point form about what you're going to be covering in detail in the essay later. So it just gives a head start for your examiner, and it gives the examiner the confidence that okay, this student knows what he is talking about and he has definitely studied for the exam. So the synopsis can be very simple. It's just going to be 4 to 5 lines of what you're going to be talking in your essay later. And it is a fact that many examiners get really impressed when students write synopsis. So if you guys are going to be writing synopsis for your essay, then it is a big plus point actually. After synopsis, the next important thing that I want to talk about is your diagrams. You can never pass anatomy without drawing diagrams. And for essay, minimum you should be able to draw 2 to 3 diagrams, right? That is the minimum, because it is worth the 10 marks, and each diagram you draw can be easily worth 2 marks. So try to draw diagrams, and when you're going to be drawing diagrams, you're given an entire A4 sheet, right? Don't just draw a diagram in a small corner or anything. If you're drawing the brachial plexus, draw it for an entire page. And when it comes to diagrams, not only the size matters but the color. Try to make your diagrams as colorful as possible, because the rest of your paper is just going to be filled with blue ink, right? The diagram is the only part, is the eye-catching part of your entire paper, right? So try to make it as attractive as possible and as much informative as possible. And it's very important to follow color coding, right? You just cannot use any color up to your wish. There is a certain color coding that you need to follow. Like for arteries you need to use red, and for veins you need to use blue, and then nerves you need to use yellow, and sometimes yellow is not that visible, so just draw it in yellow and give black color outlines. And then there are much more other like standard color codes. Like for muscles you need to use brown color, and then for lymph nodes you can use purple, and for tendons and ligaments you can use green color. So there is like a standardized procedure in which color you're going to be using for which structures. So just try to follow that and don't make any mistakes in that. After drawing about 2 to 3 diagrams and explaining a lot of points, we are going to be coming to the end of our essay. And to end off the essay, this is very important, that is applied aspect. Your applied aspect, not only for your essay but all your short notes, it's allocated 1 mark. So if you don't mention anything about applied aspect, you're going to be losing 1 mark for every question that you're going to be following after. So what is applied aspect? Is nothing but just your clinical correlation. If you're following Vishram Singh or BDC, especially Vishram Singh, what happens is that at the end of every chapter, you're going to be having a purple color box showing clinical correlation. This clinical correlation is nothing but the applied aspect. So for brachial plexus, you're going to be having upper trunk injury, lower trunk injury, you're going to be having Erb's point, you're going to be having policeman tip sign, so on and so forth. A lot of clinical correlation. At least try to write 1, or if you have enough knowledge and you can remember, try to write 2. This is really important for this new CBME curriculum, because they are focusing more on clinical correlation and case studies and so on and so forth. So this is the important point, that is called first impression is the best impression. You are going to be writing the essay first, so give in your best, draw a lot of diagrams, draw big diagrams with a lot of color coding, and do write your applied aspect. This is my first tip. Right, so the second point that I want to talk to you guys is something that always comes along with exams. That is nothing but time management. Wherever you go, you see him, right? Because time management is very, very essential. So for all the internal assessments, you're going to be given 3 hours. And how this 3 hours is going to be divided is that we know the paper is going to be out of 100 marks. 80 marks is going to be written, meanwhile 20 marks is MCQ. So in university exams, what happens is that first 20 minutes is given for MCQ. So they will distribute the MCQ papers and then we have to solve it within 20 minutes and they will collect it again. So the first 20 minutes is going to be allocated purely for MCQs. So with that, we're going to be remaining with another 2 hours and 40 minutes. And as I said, your essay is the first impression, it has to be the best. You can allocate about 30 to even 45 minutes at max for your essay. So after finishing your essay, that means you're only going to be left with 2 hours. And according to the new CBME pattern, how the questions are going to be is that you're going to be having 10 short notes and 2 reason out questions. And each of your short notes is going to be worth 6 marks. So you're going to be having to attend 12 questions and you have 2 hours, means each short notes you're going to be allocating about 10 minutes. So the golden rule is simple. MCQs 20 minutes, essay 30 to 45 minutes, and each short note you can give 10 to maximum 12 minutes by sacrificing a bit in some other questions. So this is going to be the time frame that you want to be following if you want to answer all the questions, and I'll tell you how important it is later. One mistake that I see students often doing, and what I myself did, was that I did not practice my diagrams beforehand. So what I mean is that, let's say you're given a short note like axillary artery, right? When you are studying that particular chapter of axillary artery itself, practice drawing the axillary artery. Like, draw the 3 parts of the axillary artery and draw the branches, the 1 branch from the first part, 2 branches from the second, and the 3 branches from the third part. Practice beforehand itself, because you won't be stuck in the exam thinking of what diagram to draw, so on and so forth. Because that is what happened. Like, when I got the question of axillary artery, I did not practice it before. So in exam itself, I was struggling on thinking how to draw. But let's say you have practiced that diagram beforehand itself, what would normally take 5 to 6 minutes would easily be done in 2 to 3 minutes. So by this, you can actually save time so that you have more time to write in legible handwriting and even enough time to write the applied aspects. So just try to practice drawing 1 to 2 diagrams for every single short note out there. The third point that I want to talk to you guys is presentation. So let's just say you're the examiner who's marking the paper, right? And you're marking 2 scripts, one from student A and one from student B. So let's just say that student A paper, right? He has drawn a lot of diagrams, a lot of large, colorful diagrams. And if you take a look at his content, all of the content are written in point form, where he does not beat around the bush and just go straight to the point. Meanwhile, we have student B, where he has drawn very small diagrams and he has not used a lot of colors. And if you look at his content, he's just writing a lot of sentences as if he's writing a story, and he's just beating around the bush. And when you just flip through his paper, all you see is blue ink. So let's say you are now the examiner. Which student paper would you prefer, and would you want to actually read and correct the paper? Definitely student A, right? So as you can see, even though both the students might have the same amount of knowledge, the person who is able to present the knowledge better is the winner at the end of the day. So what I'm trying to say is that try to include a lot of drawings. So I just said, you cannot pass anatomy without drawing diagrams. So for every single short note, just try to draw at least 1 diagram. And for essays, 2 to 3 diagrams. And for physiology and biochemistry, draw a lot of flowcharts, right? Put a lot of boxes, put a lot of arrows, try to show how this concept links to this. They don't want you to see explaining all the important concepts in words, because first of all, it's boring and it's too tedious. So let's just say we have a very simple topic like intrinsic versus extrinsic clotting of blood. Instead of explaining in words, explaining the entire process in a flowchart would be much easier for the examiner to understand, and you would also have a much more comprehensive idea. So don't try to write a lot of content in the form of sentences, but try to minimize by writing in terms of points, and also include a lot of drawings, diagrams, flowcharts, and a lot of colors. Because the more presentable the paper is, the more pleasant the examiner would feel, and definitely the better marks they would be giving you at the end of the day. So last but not least, the most important point that I want to stress to you guys is don't sacrifice one question for another question. What do I mean by this? So we know that we're going to be having 10 short notes and 2 reason notes. Not all 10 short notes are going to be short notes that we are well known of. Most of the times only 7 are going to be 7, or 8 is going to be easy. 2 or 3 of the short notes is going to be difficult or different, or something that you have not studied that detailed in. So what most of the students would do, hypothetically what they would want to do is that they would say is that let me just focus on the 7 short notes that I know, and those 3 questions I don't know, let me just leave it out. They'll be thinking that I'm just going to be doing the best, I'm just going to be investing all the time for this 7 short notes instead of the 10 short notes that I'm supposed to equally divide into. And what mistakes the students are going to be doing is that no matter how well you write for each question, the professors are not going to be giving you more than 4 or 5 out of 6. So hypothetically, let's say they're generous and they give you 5 marks, right? 7 into 5, that is 35 marks for your short notes. That is how much you're going to be getting if you're going to be following your intuitive thoughts. But what I'm saying is that don't leave out any question, because once you understand the marking scheme, you'd get to know that for each diagram that you draw, you're going to be awarded 1 or 2 marks if it's really well drawn and well labeled. And for clinical correlation, you're going to be getting 1 mark. So that is already 3 marks out of the 6 marks. So even though it's going to be a question that you're not that familiar or you've not studied that much in detail, just draw a diagram, right? Just draw a diagram that is going to be related to it. Try to link it to the question. So since you're not going to be investing that much time in the 7 questions, let's just say now you're being awarded somewhere between 4 or 5. So instead of getting the 35 marks you're supposed to get, you're only getting 30 marks from the 7 questions that you know well of. But at the same time, those 3 questions in which you were not that sure and you thought of skipping, now since you attempted the question by drawing some related diagrams, some related points or some related clinical correlation, now you're being awarded 3 marks each for the 3 questions. That is 9 marks. So 30 plus 9, you're getting 39 marks. So you can see the difference clearly, right? You attempted 7 questions and maximum, and let's say even Gray, who is the author of Gray's Anatomy, comes and write those 7 questions. No professor is going to give you more than 5 marks. So maximum you can get is 35 marks. But now, since you're answering all the questions, even those questions you're not that sure of and not that well versed with, you're scoring 39 marks. You can see the difference, right? 35 and 39. So these are like small minor change in mindset that you guys should be having, right? You should not miss out any question at all. Even if you don't know anything, just draw a diagram and that would be it. So these are few tips that I wanted to tell you guys so that you can prepare well and write your first internal assessment well, because you guys are going to be writing somewhere within, I think, the next 1 or 2 weeks. So I hope this video would be of great help, and I know it is going to be hard to implement all these in your first internal assessment, but try to adapt to all these changes as fast as possible. With that, come to the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do comment down below, do like the video, do share and do subscribe, and also comment down below what other types of video you guys would be interested to watch. So thank you for watching this video. Bye.